channel. Thank you so much for tuning in to Beautiful Soul today. I'm excited to be doing a video today. First of all, let's discuss. I know you guys see that my background is a little bit different. I'm still in my little closet nook area, but your girl got a little upgrade. I got a little chair going on. Some little pictures that we did. A little more comfortable here in my little conversation corner. That's what I was calling it. I was like, should it be couch conversations or conversation corner? Today I have a couple things to talk about. First of all, I wanted to discuss really briefly Jada Pinkett Smith's new series, I guess it is. It's like a Facebook Live series, and it's called Red Table Talk. I have been loving this show. First of all, love Jada Pinkett, always have. Everybody loves Jada Pinkett. Like, what's not to love about Jada Pinkett? She is super sweet. I mean, I don't know her personally. I wish I did. But, you know, she just seems to be such a kind-hearted, sweet-spirited person. So, when she announced that she was coming out with a show, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This should be like, you know, something interesting. So the first episode that I checked out, and I'm going to link her series in the description box. If you have not seen it yet, you really should think about checking it out. I'm going to put the link to her latest show, and I'm sure you can catch up on the previous shows. She just aired her third episode yesterday, I believe it was. So, you could check it out because it's really good. It's a short series, so if you don't watch a lot of TV, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, but it's like a 20-minute series. I feel like I'm always left like wanting more. Like, I'm always checking. I'll like tap on my screen to see how much time is left because I'm like, oh, I want this to keep going because it's such a good series. But the last series, she sat down with Gabrielle Union, and they had like a girl-to-girl or woman-to-woman girlfriend type talk. So apparently they hadn't spoken in like over 15 years, something like 17 years or something. And Jada said that they were always associates, that they weren't like really close friends, but for some reason they just stopped talking. And I thought that was so interesting because it happens so often with girlfriends as we're evolving and as we are becoming who we are and understanding who we are and getting more comfortable with who we are. It's like you tend to stray away from friendships that you had or associates even, and sometimes you don't even know why. Sometimes there was a falling out, and I just thought it was really interesting and really grown up of them to sit down and have that conversation for every woman in America or wherever this thing airs to see. So there's a couple things I wanted to discuss. First of all, Gabrielle Union, I knew she was that type of person. I'm not going to say like I knew it, but I feel like spirits can just, like, you can feel somebody's spirit even when you don't know them personally. And I always used to say, like, the roles that actors and actresses play have to be like somewhat similar to the type of person that they actually are. Now, I know there are great actors who can play different types of personalities, but I felt like Gabrielle Union always kind of played that like sassy type of woman. And I was like, I don't know, that gotta be like a little bit of her personality. And I thought it was just really interesting. If you guys haven't seen the video, please watch that first because it's going to be a whole bunch of spoiler alerts in this video. I thought it was so interesting that she confessed. She basically confessed to the type of person that she was and put it out there and talked about the healing that she's been through and still going through to become the person that she is now and the type of woman that she wants to be. Now, you know, if you paid attention to Gabrielle Union at all in the more recent months, she's an advocate for women. She did that speech at Essence. They talked about that too, and she's always talking about empowering women, encouraging women, and it seems very genuine. And I think, judging from this video, it is very genuine. So to hear her talk about what type of woman she used to be, and I related so much to the type of woman that she used to be, where she said that she would shrink back when she felt like somebody else was in the room was getting more attention than her. And the way that she would pull the attention back to herself is by basically like trash talking another person, the girl or whoever it was. And I just felt like, wow, that is really big of you to even discuss, because so many women are like that, but they're not willing to put that out there. They're not willing to say, I'm insecure and I talk about the next girl because I feel insecure about myself. Now, this is something that, like, so many women gossip, and we know according to the word that it's not right, that we're not supposed to do that. So why it's like she brought to light why women even do it, because there really is no need to discuss what another woman is doing negatively unless it's something within yourself that you see that or something within yourself that is threatened by them doing or being great, doing something great or being great. So she pointed out the fact that she was a hater. Like, I loved it. I was like, wow, Gabrielle, like, that's what's up. I'm so glad that somebody like her who has been healed. See, the thing is, when you can't talk about these things, when these things still bother you on the inside, people think that, like, you put yourself out there and you tell your testimony for attention or for whatever the case may be. But you could clearly look at her and tell that she is past these things, that she's not that type of person anymore. Because when you can discuss openly without like bawling, without, you know, still having those emotions attached to what you're talking about, it's clearly something that you have been healed from, that you are no longer dealing with. So the fact that she was like, yeah, like, I used to be a hater, I used to trash talk other people, I used to, like, she talked about how she used to be and how she's not that person anymore. And she talked about the process and some of the things that she went through to be able to overcome those insecurities that she had. And she talked about hitting rock bottom. Like, it just was a really I think even for Jada, like, because Jada, you could tell that she's not that type of person, and she maybe probably never was in the sense that Gabrielle was talking about it. And it almost was like it opened up something for her. Like, she got to understand why a person like that acts like that. And I think that's so important in this day and age, because you see somebody acting out negatively, you see somebody talking about somebody, you see somebody you know, another woman downing another female, or even just being a mean person, just like a mean individual. And most people don't understand what's happening or why that person is the way that they are. And even if they do understand, they'll harden their heart towards that type of person because they feel like there's no excuse, because they don't themselves, they've never been through that type of thing. So they'll just, like, how could that person be that way? How could you talk like that about somebody? How could you treat somebody like that? I don't want to deal with a person like you. Not understanding or not being compassionate towards the hurt, the pain, and whatever that person might be dealing with internally that makes them act out. Now, mind you, I'm not telling nobody to be anybody's savior. Everybody has to deal with their own insecurities and issues in order to bring proper healing. But I just thought that the dynamic was interesting, because it was like Jada was asking questions to, almost as if she didn't know, like, what would make her be that type of person and what caused the change. She didn't really ask her what would make her be that type of person, but she did ask what caused the change. And Gabrielle talked about hitting rock bottom. I'm telling you, I've related to all of this stuff so much. So I just thought it was really interesting. I wanted to point out, she did mention one of the things that she had to get comfortable with was silence. She specifically said silence. And that's something that I wanted to talk about in this video, because I was actually going to do a separate video, but I thought maybe to incorporate it in this would be interesting, because I want to ask you ladies, can you be alone? I know there are so many women out there including myself, who have dealt with insecurities like this. Now, I'm saying that I related to Gabrielle. I wasn't the type of person that would just trash talk on my own, but I would definitely piggyback like I was with the mean girl crew. Like I wasn't the main mean girl, like you saw Mean Girls. I wasn't the main chick, but I was like hanging out with the crew. I was hanging out with the crowd. And I wouldn't defend the person who was being hurt or was being down talked, and I kind of would join in on the conversation, just wanting to belong. And I know that there are other women out there who deal with insecurities, and this is their outlet. This is the way that they, and even into your adult age, if you never deal with those insecurities and you never deal with the type of person that you are becoming, you will continue to be that type of person, and you'll be an old lady still talking about people. Did y'all see that meme that was like it's something like I'm at work and I can't believe there's 65-year-olds that are still messy or still petty. It's like, man, you 65 years old, like you're supposed to have it together by now. Like you'll be an old lady still talking about people, still bitter, still messy. Like, come on now, we don't want to be traveling down that road. A couple ways to really test if you are really comfortable being alone is how often, when you're by yourself, how often do you check social media? How often are you on your phone? Like if you are in an environment and you're with somebody and that person leaves to go to the bathroom, do you automatically revert to going on your phone? Do you automatically start scrolling or whatever it is? Like you can't just sit there and be with your own thoughts. You can't just sit there and be by yourself. If that is you, recognize what that is. Recognize that your thoughts, maybe your thoughts aren't healthy. Maybe they scare you. Maybe what you think about is not the most pure, and so you have to drown those thoughts out with something else, with somebody else, or something else receiving something, because what you're putting out is not goodness. How do you fight that? I think that everybody has their own journey. If I talk about personally how I fight those thoughts, because I'm a person who loves being alone, but truly being alone is no phone, no like just really meditating. Like what are your thoughts when you try to just meditate? And the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's so important when it comes to spending time with God, because that's what we're always really drawing down to, right? And especially as a millennial in this generation where our phones are attached to our hands, there's always something being infiltrated into your mind. You're always receiving information. You're receiving images. You're receiving things. And your mind becomes bombarded with these thoughts and these images so much that when you sit down to read your Bible, when you sit down to just meditate on God's goodness, you can't even do it, because your thoughts are moving so quickly that it's like it almost can't be infiltrated. Now mind you, the power of God is mighty, so it can be, but for some people it may take some work to push through those negative thoughts or those distracting thoughts to actually get to a point of peace, and to get to a point of really just understanding just peace. So what I want to get at is some ways to combat that is fasting. We all know that fasting is a great way to clear your thoughts, clear your mind, and to be able to be alone in your own space with yourself, to be able to get that healing that you need, that will drown out those insecurities, that will drown out those negative thoughts, to really get the healing, that to really hear from God and get healed. So personally, I had to literally force myself, put my phone in another room, and honestly, it wasn't even necessarily my phone, it was just my own thinking. I would literally have to sit down, and whenever I would have a distracting thought, I would have to literally speak the word, or just speak God's presence. God, I hear you, I see you, you're here with me, you're in the room with me. And just close my eyes and focus my thoughts on just being in a heavenly place with God, being somewhere in solidarity, being somewhere in a peaceful place. Whatever brings you that moment of peace where you're just like, where you can breathe again. You sometimes have to force yourself to that space and being able to remain there, because so quickly, it's like when you're sitting in church and you're like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, what the pastor is talking too much. Oh, they passing the plate again. Is communion today? I haven't been to church in 3 weeks. Do I need to tithe for them past 3 weeks? Like, every thought that you're having, that is the enemy using your own thoughts so that you won't receive the word. So you won't understand what God is trying to speak to you in that moment or in that time. And that can happen anywhere, because God can speak to you at any time, anywhere you receive that revelation. It don't necessarily have to be at church. So while you're sitting, like I said, you're with your girlfriend and she leaves to go to the bathroom, you immediately revert to your phone. You're missing out on, maybe God was trying to speak to you through somebody walking by. But if you are constantly in that place where you know God is always with me, He's always walking with me, and not just that like you're protected by His love, but that He could speak to you at any moment. So you don't need to be on your phone, because God is with you. He's speaking to you. He is loving on you. You don't need to be necessarily out with friends or talking to somebody, because you're talking to God. Your best friend is Jesus, and He's speaking to you at all times. So it will take away that feeling of being alone, because God says, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. So it's not necessarily that you have to feel God with you all the time, but it just has to be the belief that you understand that He's still here, even in difficult circumstances. Whatever I'm going through, whatever I need, He's still here and able to provide it for me. I just have to be able to focus my thoughts enough and not be insecure about what somebody else is doing, or how somebody else is living their life, to know that God is with me and helping me to move forward in my own life. So I don't want this video to be too long. I hope I said some things that made sense and helped you guys in some way. Please check out Jada's video. It is so good. This has been my most favorite episode by far, with her and Gabrielle. I think that as a woman, especially a woman, if you're a little bit insecure, or you struggle with relationships, girlfriend relationships, it would definitely be an eye-opener for you to watch it. I would check it out, and check out her last 2 episodes, because they were also very good. And I'm going to be coming at you guys with more videos. I have so many ideas, and so many ideas to talk about, and some news coming. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also follow me on Instagram, where I also post updates and different things that are going on. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.